Hi there.
Sorry I'm late.
Hi. No problem. I'm sitting here by myself waiting to see if someone else will join. Great that you join at least.
Do you have anything to discuss this afternoon?
I don't have too much. I prepared a small agenda, but it's not too dense. Can go through it, but maybe we should wait and see if someone else care to join as well. Not much in the agenda that you're not already aware of, so let's see. Here comes Jalander. Hi, Jalander. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
So I don't think we need to wait any longer. Let's see, this might be a quick meeting, depending on the discussions, of course. So please add yourselves to the participants list. And action items from last meeting, I didn't note any. I don't think that we had really any formal items. We talked a bit about presentations that we want to get to the group. I did reach out to Ole from Cube Shop regarding a presentation on TestCube, and he then proposed that I should contact Bruno, which is probably the one who would give the presentation, and I reached out to him, but too late. That was today actually. So he is planning now to come to our next SIG meeting in 2 weeks and present the TestCube to us. But no real actions from last time. So I'm not sure, Andrea, you're of course aware, but for the TOC, we can just mention, I noted one thing that I think could be interesting maybe for this group, that there is an intention to write a project benefits document. There is a membership benefits document today, which describes what benefits you would have as a member in CDF, but there is no corresponding document for what the projects in CDF would get. So I don't think much has happened, but there is at least an issue to create this, and maybe we can be involved when it's being written. Otherwise, we can also consider it when it's done if there's anything that we from CDF Events should request or be aware of. We can come back to that once it has progressed some. That was what was most. Yeah, Andrea, you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, we started working on it.
Okay.
At least with Melissa, we're starting to put together some draft, and I guess we'll present progress to at least where we got to. Tomorrow there is the next TOC meeting.
Yeah.
So it won't be ready by tomorrow, but we can at least present progress. And for sure, I mean, we can consider. I think it's a good idea to share it once it's in a more stable format, maybe to share it with all the project and get input of things that seems to be missing, and also to start conversation with all the projects to make sure that we are aware of the benefits that we get from CDF, and so.
That's good. So you don't see any reason to share the in progress document here now, right? It can be done once it's there. Or...
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason not to either. I think the link to the draft is there already.
Oh, it's here. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So if you want
So
to
you
look
can
at
find it. Yeah.
and start looking through, I mean, the notes might not necessarily be in a format digestible way or self-explaining, let's say, because we had some chat with Melissa and we are taking notes. But yeah, at least we have some initial ideas and structure. I think we have some very good ideas, and we found out that the CNCF has a whole website page dedicated to this. So we're probably going to reuse some of their ideas as well. And yeah.
Good. Nice. Yeah. Looking forward to this. And if I see something, I will of course contribute as well if there's anything I see missing. Yeah. Okay.
Great, thank
thanks. Do you see any other major updates from the TOC, Andrea, that we should raise here? I haven't mentioned a separate topic of Google Summer of Code later on, which I know we also discussed 2 weeks ago on TOC.
The only other thing that I wanted to mention is that similar to what the outreach committee has done, we want to have project representative joining the TOC meetings. So at least one person per project to attend the TOC meeting on a regular basis, so that we make sure we keep the flow of information continuing. But I guess with both of us joining the TOC meetings on a regular basis, that requirement is met for CD events. But I think it's you, Emil, right?
Yeah.
Project representative. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good to mention that.
Yeah.
So thanks.
So I'm already on the
that.
TOC, so therefore that it was a good fit that I also did that part. And as you say, Andrea, you're there as well as a chair, so I think we're quite good representation from this project in TOC anyway. So we don't need to have any more mandatory participation, I think, on the TOC meetings from us.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Oh, yeah. Then just some comments from the CD Events work group, where we have parallel meetings to this. Hi, Laura, welcome. So in the last meetings we have mostly talked about incident events and testing events. So testing events come from, or is a proposal from the test cube people, Cube Shop, where we have had representation on those meetings discussing a new bucket of events, which is then called testing events currently. So the pull request is there. You're free, of course, to come there and share your thoughts and contribute your input to those events. We don't have any release date or so planned for this bucket, but we'll see if it would make the next release of CD Events or not. It remains to be seen. But regarding the incident events, that's one of the major things we would like to have in the 0.2 version of CD Events. And there is work ongoing on that one. And you're, of course, also welcome to go there and look at that. I don't think we need to bring up much details here unless there is a wish for it. We can come back to that in the end of this meeting then, if so. Otherwise, I think we can keep those discussions on the work group meetings and in the pull requests themselves, of course. When it comes to other SIGs, the SIG interoperability, there were a couple of interesting meetings last week there. One was the actual recording of the latest Techstrong TV episode on the CD pipeline. I'm not sure you've seen the CD pipeline before, but there's been 3 earlier episodes on that channel since it was started during the autumn. And now the latest one is about interoperability. So there's a link here to that episode if you're interested. Then there was as well a meeting about value stream mapping with people from the value stream mapping consortium. So value stream mapping isn't something that we have really discussed much in relation to CD Foundation or CD pipelines. But it turns out that the VSM's consortium has an interoperability TC, I think they call themselves, that is discussing interoperability in tools related to value stream mapping. And the scope for value stream mapping seems to overlap quite a lot with the CD pipeline or the CD continuous delivery scope, except that it actually starts a lot earlier in the process, I would say, than the CD pipeline does. It starts already when a customer or a user has a need for a feature, some value-adding activity on a service or artifact of some kind. And then it progresses all the way through operations until the new features is available to the users and also how well it's working and so on. So it was quite a short meeting last week, but anyway, the group there are interested in continuing the collaboration with us. So as I understood it from that meeting, they will set up continuing meetings, a meeting series with where we would be invited to discuss interoperability. And for us, then of course, we could focus on events for this to solve this interoperability. So the meeting invite will go probably to the SIG interoperability, and then we as CD events or SIG events could also be part of that, of course. Andrea, you were there as well. Is there anything you would like to add to that?
No, I think you're.
Have you had any follow-up discussions with, was it Helen since then?
No, not yet. I haven't heard from her yet. Like as you said, I think I understood the next step for them to discuss within the group and and set up some kind of recurring meeting, maybe work stream within one of our SIGs also.
Yeah. So somehow there will be a collaboration, and I think it will be driven from the VSM consortium group, but we will be invited to it. That's how I think it was said. Okay, that's about other groups. I didn't mention anything about supply chain security or best practices. Is there anything? I don't know, Leora, I think there was no supply chain security meeting last week, was there? At least not in the SIG, but maybe there was a meeting for the maturity model.
I'm not sure. I wasn't attending that, but I have one comment here.
Yeah.
I don't think that the supply chain SIG was initially intended to handle security stuff. I think it evolved to that.
Yeah.
So this is something that I will need to discuss with the co-lead to understand where this, the SIG is going to. So right now I'm just only lurking on your meetings to hear what you're doing, but not representing what the SIG is doing.
Yeah, I see. So I believe that there is a sub work stream within the supply chain, supply chain SIG, which is called it's called maturity. Yeah, so it's not about security. Sorry, supply chain maturity. Yeah.
I just don't know what they're doing.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's all I have from other CDF groups. unless you have anything else to share there. Then when it comes to Google Summer of Code, that was also discussed on the TOC meeting 2 weeks ago. And it was discussed how that is handled. I mean, we as CD Events haven't been part of any such activity explicitly before. There was a Jenkins project with cloud events or a beta version of CD Events, very early version of the events protocol 2 years ago, or 1.5 years ago now. And I actually, just before this meeting, reached out to Mark Waite to see if they have already started to propose anything for this year's Summer of Code when it comes to event handling or such, but there is no such project proposed there yet for the Jenkins project, but we are free to propose our ideas, and I think it would be great to see a project where CD Events was integrated into Jenkins. But the thing that we need to do then is that we need to provide a mentor for such a project, or we need to appoint someone that could mentor it to be able to put it into this project ideas list. I reached out to VibHub as well, who was, I think, mentoring, or at least co-mentoring the previous project there with cloud events or CD events. Haven't got any replies from him yet if he's interested to be there. I think Salaboy was there as well, Mauricio. I'm not sure how active he is in this area and if he might be interested to mentor it. But that's just for the Jenkins part. I think, of course, any project could do a CD events integration, which we might be interested in following and helping out, of course, as well. So I don't know, for example, with now we have a representative from Tecton here. Is there anything ongoing there in discussions within Tecton on setting up a Google Summer of Code project? It could be interesting.
Yeah, we did discuss it, and we had a very good discussion about GSOC in the outreach committee meeting at the CDF as well. So basically, the Jenkins folks kind of introduced the work they do for GSOC, and it's for them it's a 6-month preparation work before they actually get to the well, I think it was some days ago, a week ago, the proposal for the organization. So basically, you propose as an organization to GSOC, and to be accepted, you need to be well prepared, at least from what I understood. So you need to have a good number of project mentors, and so that it's basically you present your organization as a good host for these projects. So for Tecton, that's definitely too late to start our own project. So when we discussed this a couple of weeks ago, there were only a few days left before the organization deadline, organization application deadline. So
yeah, that's on February 7th. So it's actually a week left, but it's, as you said, it would require some preparations.
Yeah, that's okay. There is still time. Sorry, mentor organization application. Yes. Sorry, I thought it was expired already. But yeah, so it's didn't feel like even doing something like on a smaller scale for Tecton that we would be able to do anything significant compared to like several months of preparation on Jenkins side.
Yeah.
But what we discussed with the Jenkins folks, and what I would like also for the TOC there to help in future, making sure that we have some guidelines and help for the project to be notified in time when if they want to participate such initiatives, so that they start preparing on time and finding the people and resources. But there still might be a possibility for the first thing you mentioned, I think, to propose a project. I don't know if it's still possible to add projects to the Jenkins.
Oh yeah. So I discussed that with Mark as well, and there is, I mean, the deadline for that is not February 7th, but later.
Okay.
There was actually, he didn't really mention any deadline at all for that, but we can see here that February 7th is when the organization applications need to be in place. That's the deadline for the organization application, which is then from Jenkins project or from CDF could be presenting an application as a CDF foundation, which would then contain projects if so. But then I believe it's around April 4th or something where the deadline is for the contributors to GSOC and by then there needs to be, I mean, the project needs to be obviously in place so that the contributors can be assigned to them. So I think still there is some time to get in projects. I'm not sure if it's actually April 4th or probably sometime earlier, but at least not after April 4th, I'm pretty sure. So there might be time, and then I guess the way for us would be to do it through Jenkins, for example, which I assume will be accepted as an organization in GSOC, or through some other organization or project that will also do it.
I know that Fidelity, they're still definitely interested in having the Jenkins plus CD events functionality, and last I heard, they were planning on doing the implementation, but that's something that we could also discuss with them depending on what the timeline that they have in mind and the resource availability. They might be interested in mentoring a GSOC project about that as well. Yeah, what I can do, I can reach out to Jer and see what he thinks about it.
I'm not sure what it really means to be a mentor of such a project. I assume that it means that you need to be available during the summer at least, and probably, as I said as well before, some decent preparation before the work is started, so that it's that the task is clear and so. But yeah, it would be great if some project would work on CD events to some extent. I think that also it was mentioned. I looked into Jenkins X and their similar corresponding project page for 2022, I think it was, and their CD events was also mentioned. So this, I mean, there is probably an interest in other areas as well to work on CD events, but I haven't been reached out to from any other project, at least, if we would be interested in helping out there. But we are currently a very small group of people, I would say, so we might not have the bandwidth to drive this ourselves, but it would be great if we could be part of it to some extent. But let's see then what your contact there at Fidelity could do for us, and then let's see also what Aviva answers later on. Okay. That's about it for the GSOC, unless you had any other comments there. So presentations, there are no presentations planned today, but as I said in the beginning, next week, or sorry, in 2 weeks, we should hopefully have a presentation on TestCube, what TestCube is and how it could relate to CD events. People from TestCube are quite active right now, at least, in proposing the testing events PR. So we think that there is a good use case for CD events with TestCube. Looking forward to that. Then just wanted to mention the conferences that are upcoming and have CFP closing soon. Our own CDCon, CFP closes there on February 10th, in a bit more than a week. It's in Vancouver, Canada. And then related to that, the same week in Vancouver as well, is the Open Source Summit, North America. And the CFP for that one closes already on February 5th, in less than a week now. So if you plan to go to CDCon anyway, I would suggest that you also propose something to the Open Source Summit, if that's if you're able to. I think that the KubeCon, which is in Amsterdam, has not yet had its schedule announced. So I'm not sure if there is any interesting topics from our perspective there. We'll see when that comes out.
I think there's 1 week to go.
Okay, yeah.
At least they said originally February the 6th. I don't know if that's
So the next meeting we might know then if there is anything we should look after. Any other conferences we should note there that you're aware of, inform about? No. So that was the end of my small prepared agenda there. Is there anything? Yeah, now since Jalander is here, sorry, about the Spinnaker proposal there. Are there any updates on that one?
Yes, Emil, I think we have a meeting with the Spinnaker team tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 9. Yeah, we'll be meeting there. I think, yeah, we'll discuss what we need more clarifications or what actually the things need to be discussed. Yeah.
Good. Looking forward to the results of that one. Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to share?
And the updates to the Java SDK to have the latest specifications. So that is also like most of the things are in place. I think if someone reviews that from it'll go ahead. I think so. There are I think quite a lot of changes. I think based on the latest specification that has changed from previous one. Yeah, I have given some couple of comments there, and I think Adam addressed most of them. So it's good. Like if anyone else is reviewing it, then we can make sure that that PR goes in.
Is there a is the PR up there? I'm not sure I've looked at it, or I haven't looked at it. I know. I'm not sure I've seen
Yeah,
it
it's
either.
SDK Java. Yeah, I think that's the.
It's the first one, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of comments there, so it seems to be quite active.
So on that one, Jalander, I won't try to comment on the Java, because last time I did Java development was maybe 15 years ago, so I'm a bit out of date. One thing I meant to ask, and I didn't put the comment in there, is whether in here or maybe in a follow-up PR, do you have any plan to test against the schemas, or if that's already the case, perhaps? So to generate events with the SDK for the different kinds and validate them against the schemas that are stored in the spec repo.
Yeah, so not done any validations as of now. I think, yeah, so if specification is I think it's come to one place, so we can definitely, yeah, we can add some schema validation. I think we need to take that. So we have not considered it at any stage of this creation of SDK. So not sure, is this implemented for Go SDK, the schema validation right now?
Yes, yes. So we have some tests that goes against the schema in the spec repo. me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I need to find where it is in the code, but I can yeah, I can find it in the code and send the link and put it on the PR. That helps.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll also check meanwhile. Yeah. Sure.
To that point, I don't think that we ever wrote any like requirements on what the SDKs need to fulfill to be able to be up to date with a certain version of the protocol. But obviously, it's valuable to validate towards the latest or the current schema of the CDF events that you are intending to support. So just to prove that the events created are actually in line with the schema. But as I said, that I don't think we wrote any such rules anywhere. Maybe we should do. What it means to be compliant with a version of CDF events. But yeah, I think it's fine to merge the pull request without that, but it would also be good to quite soon add that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't think it's a requirement for the PR to go ahead at all. I was just yeah, wondering that it's something that is considered. Yeah, I think it's there. I think I remember doing something about that, but
yeah, we had a discussion about requirements on the SDKs, I remember, but I'm not sure if we ever noted them in any of the official documents.
No, we didn't.
No.
We didn't create requirements for those.
Okay, so when we're at SDKs, has anyone heard how the Python SDK is progressing? I haven't heard from Eric for quite some time. He was the main contributor there. I'm not sure if anything is really happening there or so. Does anyone else know?
No, unfortunately, I haven't heard from Eric. I think he could not join the last couple of meetings. So
the intended release date for 0.2 is approaching rapidly now. I know we said that it should be released like mid-February sometime, I think. Of course, that depends on if we have something valuable to include in it. And currently, I don't think we have more or less anything too valuable so we can release it today. But I think the incident events are the ones that are closest to be there. I'm not sure, Andrea, what you think, if it would be feasible, we think, to have those done within 2 weeks and also prepare for the release itself, or I guess that there's quite a high risk that we will delay the release sometime.
Yes, I guess it depends. I mean, we do have kind of weekly meeting for city events, which allows for a bit faster progress. But yeah, for the spec itself, we don't need to do the SDK update exactly at the same time, even though it would be good to have them ready to go. So yeah,
we'll see.
We say I don't think we will be able to cover the whole scope. We plan for the release.
No, yeah. I think
think
that
we
the two
can-
main things were the incidents and also the connecting events. And I think we might be quite far off so far from the setting the connected events discussion. But the incident events are probably quite close now. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
So anything else we should bring up today then? Any other comments or?
I don't have
One
anything
thing
else.
one thing I wanted to check actually. So we have this in the use case also we mentioned like CD events observability, right? So where we show the end-to-end workflow of code commit to deployment and at each stages, like what is the visualization kind of thing. So any thoughts on that, like how to start on that, or anyone like started with that, any of the kind of a prototype kind of thing, or any suggestions or any thoughts how to start with that, like if you wanted to come up with any POC. Yeah.
Are you pair programming,
Yeah.
Andrea? Or your cat? Yeah. Sorry. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so for the in that area we started the dorometric POC, and we'll continue on that now when we introduce the incident events. Yeah, that's I think the other thing that that we have at the moment, but we don't have. So that POC is basically about you know having the events sent by different platforms through adapters and collecting them and say, okay, well, with this data we could create the DORA metrics, but we don't have a proper visualization as such yet in place. So if you have any idea, if you have ideas about something we could start or reuse in that area, that's for sure it would be welcome. I guess one of the ideas for the DORA metrics specifically was to try and integrate with the 4 Keys project on Google. So we tried to reach out, both myself and Salaboy, to Dave on Google's side, but he did not reply anymore to either of us. So I'm not sure we'll be able to continue on that unless we get some reply from them. Also, that relies on the Python SDK being available, because that project is written in Python. But there might be other options we can pursue for visualization.
How was that? I remember having heard some discussions. Was it from the CD, what's it called, CD Summit in Austin? Was it Microsoft who raised that, or who did raise the thought on? I'm not sure if it was visualization or metrics or something related. Am I
Yeah, so
remembering that? Yeah.
On the during the CDF Event Summit there in I think Dave from Google from the 4 Keys project was there, so we discussed about working together on DevOps metrics, but yeah.
Okay, so that was what we were referring to, that discussion. Yeah. There was no one else from Microsoft. I think I remember Microsoft as well being mentioned there. Maybe that was wrong.
No, it might be. I need to go back and check.
Anyway, I haven't really seen anyone from Microsoft on our meetings, so maybe I was wrong or they lost interest or something. Okay. No, but that's a good question, Janander, and it would be great to. I mean, it's obviously easier to show something that is visual. Currently, the SIG Events spec is more or less just a dry spec, and with, of course, SDKs attached to it, but it would be great to be able to show when we have demos and such on this protocol and talk about it, to show some kind of visualization based on these events. That would be super good. But there is no ongoing initiative as far as I know them, except for this DORA metrics thing, which is not really a visualization, but yeah, data collector initiative.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So, anything else to bring up? No, I hear nothing. So then I guess we can close for today. And next meeting with this group more or less is probably next Tuesday, right? When we have a SIG Events work group meeting. So if we not see each other before then, see you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Emil. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.